Welcome to Car Wash M&A, the podcast, brought to you by Amplify Car Wash Advisors, the #1 advisors of car wash chains nationwide on mergers and acquisitions and capital advisory services.
Hi, I'm Lanice Barnett, Senior Vice President of Business Development at Amplify Car Wash Advisors, and your host of Car Wash M&A, the podcast. Here, we'll take a deep dive into the current mergers and acquisitions activity in the car wash industry, with the goal of keeping car wash owners informed on where the market is today and where it's going tomorrow, so that you can make informed decisions about your business. We'll answer the question, should I sell my car wash now, or should I enter growth mode and really scale my operation? Each month, hear from industry experts who will show practical advice on how to sell or scale your car wash. While the industry is undoubtedly changing, what remains constant is the need for solid information so that you can make informed decisions about your business. All right, welcome to episode 13 of Car Wash M&A, the podcast. Today, I have my guests, Adam Trian and Dennis Driesen from AMP. It is a customer experience platform that we can't wait to talk more about and hear everything that it can do to help car wash owners run their operations even better. So thank you both for being here with me today. And I will let Dennis, you kick it off with just giving just a quick background on you. And then Adam, I'll go over to you for a quick background, and then we'll talk about what AMP is, okay?
Sounds good. I got into the car wash business about a decade ago. And before that was doing, kind of financial planning, running 401ks and doing a bunch of taxes. Wanted to do something a little bit different. So got into the car wash business about 10 years ago with my wife, and we built up the Auto Wash brand. We're now at 24 locations. And but a few years ago, we got kind of frustrated, and so we started looking at building an alternative way to generate to run memberships.
That's the best way for coming up with innovative solutions, is because you actually know what the real problem is. So this isn't hypothetical. You're the user.
Yeah, a lot of what we're going to talk about today is probably like born out of our frustrations as an operator.
Great. Can't wait to dive in. And Adam, just give a little bit of your background pre-car wash and then what you do now.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in the software development space for over 20 years. Several of those years were with Ernst & Young, leading up development, building platforms for them to run big merger and acquisition deals and things like that. About 6 years ago, I split off from Ernst & Young and started a company called Incited, which is a boutique development firm in Atlanta, Georgia. Really pride ourselves on having really kind of Silicon Valley level talent and building really slick applications, rapid development cycles. Really big focus on data and analytics and marketing and really cool things. And about 2 years ago, I met Dennis, who was looking to build a car wash app. So I'd never done anything in the car wash space before. I actually knew nothing about the car wash space. But yeah, really loved working with Dennis building. At first, it was an application for Auto Wash to manage their memberships with a mobile app. But it's evolved quickly, and we decided a couple months into the project, it was so powerful what we were building, we decided to make a whole company around it. So that's how AMP was born, and been really exciting, taking kind of really advanced development techniques and technology capabilities and bringing that to the car wash space.
Yeah, and it's the car wash industry is so ripe for this type of technology, because I know that you guys were at the Southwest Car Wash Show 2 years ago, which is when I met you, and it was probably pretty early in your journey of launching AMP. Was it already off the ground then, or had it launched? So 2 years ago at that car wash show.
Our first exposure, kind of testing to see if AMP was a viable product, was at the SCWA a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So we had this like makeshift booth. We had printed off a couple boards, pinned them to the wall, and hopeful that just kind of really trying to see what the response might be for it. So that was our launch, soft launch, I guess.
Yeah, and I definitely remember meeting you guys there and thinking, wow, this is really cool. And that show was coming out of, a lot of dormancy from no shows for years with COVID. And then it just seemed so cool that there were so many new technologies and new opportunities and new solutions for car wash owners. But before we go too far down that path, so Dennis, you had this car wash brand that you and your wife had started, Auto Wash. You wanted to build a mobile app for it to handle your memberships and do some of your marketing capabilities and everything. So let's talk about what you built for Auto Wash, and then where it's grown to today.
Yeah, so when we first got started, we were trying to figure out a solution because we run primarily eBay automatics and self-serves. And we were trying to figure out a way to run our memberships without anybody on site. So we're kind of a headless system where we don't have anybody on that can put a sticker on a car, or, we didn't want to put a bunch of different LPRs for 6 different lanes. Would have been like cost prohibitive. So we wanted to find something else that made more sense. And so that's where we kind of designed our first generation of the app. It was functional in the very beginning, and then we had kind of hit some dead ends necessarily on where we wanted that first version to go as far as marketing, connecting with customers, fraud prevention, and things like that. And so that's when we reached out to Adam to build generation 2 of our car wash app for the membership. And where it's at now is, we've kind of grown. It really changed our business model for sure. I think most people who get into the membership model of car washing, it changes their revenue line. It makes things a little bit more predictable and a little bit easier to operate, and it lets you grow and scale. And that's what the app kind of did for us. But what we've been able to do now, since we've changed over and built AMP, is really explode our growth, and now we just have so much more capabilities to grab people. I think we were sitting at maybe I want to say 4,000 or 5,000 members when we switched over to the AMP platform, and now we're at 16,000 and growing, and it's been pretty incredible.
So, Adam, when Dennis first approached you about this, and you were talking about coming from this more corporate background where you're working with these, Fortune 100 or Fortune 500 companies and building mobile platforms for them and things like that, what was your first reaction when you were starting to dive into the car wash side of it? What did that feel like?
Yeah, it was, Dennis has been such a great partner from the beginning. He had all these amazing ideas of what an app could do and how he could interact with his customers. So really from the very first meeting, it was like, yeah, this would be really, really cool. You see mobile apps all over the place at kind of retail shops, like you look at Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. It's hard to find an industry that doesn't have mobile apps to help grow loyalty and grow membership programs and things like that. So it seemed immediately I could see there was this big gap in capability in the car wash space. Dennis, I think, yeah, he kind of mentioned he was on an app even before we met. I think he was one of the first car wash apps ever in existence. So he's been doing this from the beginning. And it would seem like just a tremendous opportunity to take, a lot of where we've been successful in other industries, kind of take some of those techniques around marketing and data capture and bring that to the car wash space. And we kind of always had, like, throughout the years, if we created some really cool tech or something like that, we always had that mindset, can we productize this? Is there a way to wrap this up and create a SaaS platform or a product? So I always had my radar up for that kind of thing. And this was a no-brainer. Once I saw, we turned it on, within a couple of weeks, we were seeing traction at Dennis's car washes that he hadn't experienced before. And when you have a tool and technology that is not just convenient and nice and people like it, but it actually drives revenue, that's an equation that always wins. So it was really exciting to get going with AMP.
For sure. And so while there are other, there's other providers out there to build apps, or you can hire a developer to do this. What seems really cool about what you guys are doing is making this available to car wash chains that are looking to incorporate some other platform to manage their memberships that, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not tied to a POS. It's configurable, it's customizable, and you don't have to have a developer on your staff to be able to figure out how to use this. It's like an iPhone. Like you can turn it on and you can start start messing with it and figure it out because it is tailored for ease of use. So talk to me about what it looks like for a car wash customer of amps. Like, what can this do for them, and what power is behind the ease of use, the customization that it has? What does this look like for them, and what can it do for them?
That was so important for us. Every car wash runs differently. Their brand is different. They look and feel. Their messaging is different. Their pricing, their products, what they offer when you get on site. So that really important for us to build a product that was completely white labeled, that felt, it is the car washes app, that you go to the app store, it doesn't say amp, and, we're on some platform, managing multiple car washes. So when you advertise on our app, you're only, the only advertisements your customers will see are for that car wash. So we take this very, very seriously. Every single picture, line of text, pop-up, deal, everything in our app is configurable by our self-service portal. And because we've made it so easy to configure and so flexible, we could have a new app up and running in a couple of days, where it's launched, it's on the App Store. What does take some time is you start working with the marketing team and getting all the collateral and the images, and figuring out the messaging, and then figuring out on the marketing side what deals we want to show and promotions, and what the customer notifications are going to be. So there's a lot. It's a really super powerful platform, and so there's a lot of ongoing work to continue to refine your brand, refine your messaging, test new things, make changes, and things like that. And we really help along that entire journey.
It sounds like what a great partnership for car wash owners, that it's giving a push to get that content solidified and get that messaging and that goal solidified. Because I know, speaking from my own experience, sometimes until something is right in front of you that you need to do, it's kind of pushed off. But messaging and marketing is so important, and so this gives that prompt to, okay, let's get that together if they don't already have it already. But then knowing that there's the support to launch that without having to refigure out some whole thing, that it's customizable and it's easy to do. I bet that's a real game changer for car wash owners. What are some of the results that you've seen with your clients, as far as they've not only adopted the app and started using it, or the experience platform, because it's more than just an app? What's some of the results that they've seen and some of the benefit that they've experienced from that?
First, I think one of the biggest things that we've seen is there's a couple of huge statistics out there that we've been able to expose. One is a 93% capture of accidental or involuntary churn, and so I think,
Yikes,
which is really awesome. I don't know, my wife was asking me earlier this morning. She goes, "What about the other 7? Like, what are we gonna do with those? Why aren't we capturing that?" And and it's like prepaid debit cards, things like that. But so capturing 93%, I think some of the competitors grab about 60-65%. So that's almost 50% better capture, which is like those real dollars for an operator. Like, that's huge. And so that's money to the bottom line right away. So we've seen that. We've also seen really, really tremendous growth of MRR using some of our tools, like our attendant mode tablet tool, as much as like 50% increase of MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue for the memberships. 50% growth in about a 6-week period of time.
wow.
Right? And so it's like mind-boggling how fast you can move the needle by actually using the tools and using them properly in the app.
Let's look a little bit holistically at how this is a customer experience platform beyond just the app. I also want to talk about your tie-in and partnership with Retention Express, because we're talking about capturing customer churn. And I know that you guys have a partnership with them, and actually, as part of Amplify Ventures, we're all, moving this ship forward in promoting and advocating for more solutions available for car wash owners. But how does that work with what they do?
Yeah, I think when you look at churn, there's kind of, there's being proactive and then being reactive. And what's exciting is we handle both really, really well. So with Retention Express, actually, one interesting side story, that they launched also at that same conference, and they were 2 booths over. So we've been partners with them really since the beginning, and they've been a big part of our ongoing success. basically in our app, if somebody has has any issues or problems at the car wash or questions about their membership, you're able to either send them through the phone or text message to get on with someone at Retention Express to start addressing their problems. So if they're an existing customer, we've given tools to Retention Express in our portal to solve the issue, to offer credits, give coupons, really quickly see all the information about that customer, how many times they've been to a car wash, what their lifetime value is, really try to keep that customer, keep them happy. If they are calling to cancel, we're then able to look at based what's their payment history, have they been a good customer, how many times do they wash a month, and feed them promotion specific to we also collect the reasons why people are canceling, so give promotions that way. And then once they've left, we still have their information. We could still contact them. So while they're in the cancellation period, we could hit them up a week or a day before their cancellation date, make sure that they don't want to extend or we can't get them with a promotion. And then even when they're gone, we could send out emails. We want you, we miss you, that kind of thing. So it's like like this huge campaign we help these car washes set up. And Retention Express, they're awesome. When they get customers on the phone, they keep satisfaction way up, and they do a great job of getting people to continue on the journey of a membership.
What's so cool about both of the services is it's advocating on behalf of the customer. So giving them a positive experience, giving them ease of use for your car wash end user, but also for your clients as the car wash owner. So this is such a win-win for both sides of that. And that's what I really love about how the car wash industry is evolving, because this is, it's beneficial across the board for everyone, and it's raising the bar for what the standards of car washing in general are from a wider consumer expectation, that now they expect more from us as an industry. And I think that that's helpful for that rising tide to lift all boats, that we can provide a better product, keep people happier, have that loyalty. So when we talk about car washing and who the customer is, a lot of it's based on convenience. One of the things that I've heard you guys say that I think is really cool is changing that convenience loyalty to a brand loyalty. So I want to dive in a little bit about that. And Dennis, I think you guys do some really cool stuff with auto wash, and then also with your Aunt Pat on how to change that convenience loyalty to your brand loyalty.
Yeah, I think because obviously the convenience loyalty means it was just on the way, and if you move, you're going to lose that customer. Where brand loyalty is they're aligned with your brand emotionally and logically. And so, being able to convey, the unique points of difference or your USP through the app, and being able to educate your customers through multi-page educational like pop-ups inside the app, or deals and other things. There's just so many ways. I think in building that brand loyalty, I think it really comes from the connection with the customer, where without the app, you really don't have that tight conversation that you can have with the customers. And that's where the platform comes in, is it allows you to control that conversation and be able to have that with them, not just when they're on the site, but when they go home and they're watching the Super Bowl or something like that. They can they can get a pop-up or a special deal or a special offer, or a hey, did you know mag chloride is damaging when it's snowing outside and they're not at the wash.
So what does this look like for your user engagement outside of the car wash? What are some tangibles on that? I mean, are people watching the Super Bowl and looking at pop-ups from AMP or from their car wash of, that they're connected to?
So we've got about 50% engagement on any kind of a notification that gets sent out. So if there's an email, we're seeing reactions if we send those out, because we do have because we know it's good data, right? We know that they want to be part of that brand. They downloaded the app, they're in it. Some of the things that we've done to increase engagement is like the spin to win game that we can put in there, which is, they can win like $5 credits or, $50 credits, or even maybe a free year.
And time out real quick. So also on this spin to win, so they get these different incentives, but then how are you working to fulfill those incentives that they won too? So if they get this $5 credit, what does that look like?
If they win something in the spin to win, it automatically gets applied to their account. And so then they can see in their, like in the gift card portal, they can see how much money they've earned or how much they've saved. And then they can, if they wanted to, because they're a member, they can give it away, or they can use it to offset their current membership. It's kind of like, it's completely
Even
flexible.
just in that part of it. So I've been in the car wash industry for about 13 years. And early on, especially, it's okay, so we're going to do this Father's Day promotion and we're going to pick winners, and then we're going to get this gift card, put it in a sleeve, put it in the mail and mail it to the winner, or have them come pick it up, because there was no way to just like give it to them electronically. So it's so cool just to see that that's no longer, that part of it's solved. But I just reminiscing about that. These were real things that the car wash industry was just so far behind on how to figure out that, bridge that gap, and knowing that there's a place for customers to keep their information in one place. They're not having to go to multiple things. It's got their loyalty tracking in there, because the worst thing for customers, if you like, oh, I didn't bring my, people don't use punch cards anymore, but I didn't bring whatever thing, or I'm not in on the good deal. And it seems like through this engagement, they know and they feel comfortable and confident that they're always in on, whatever's available to them, that they're rewarded for that.
Right. And that's why it's, I think, really, really, really important to have a really good functioning, slick app that's engaging to the customer, that when they're playing with it, that it's not buggy, it's not crashing, it doesn't look like it was coded in 1985. And so like it's modern, and it continues to evolve that way. But with, like, those features like that spin to win, we've from the AMP side, we can see multiple clients, and clients that use the spin to win have a 50% higher daily engagement rate than clients who don't. And this means that people are just constantly using the app. And then what that means is then you know that you're able to use the pop-up engine. So after they get a wash, or after they do a certain function, we can surface different pieces of information. And it could be just a did you know type thing. It doesn't always have to be like a savings type of situation, but it is very much an educational piece of why we're different. There's our soaps do this, or pollen is acidic and it can do that. And so it's like a way to connect with the customers where they already are, which is on their phone.
Maybe one thing to add, like kind of how we achieve some of those great numbers of people actually opening up emails, or clicking on a link that we send in a text message and things like that. A big part of it's using modern online marketing techniques around customer segmentation, and making sure the people that you're sending the message to, one, they've opted in, two, you have a verified phone number, so you don't have a bunch of junk data that you're trying to send these messages out into. But then three, we know so much more than that person than just their phone number. We know what car they drive, we know how often they wash, where they wash, how many times they log into the app, all their birthday, all sorts of things there. But we also have a survey tool where we could start asking additional questions of customers to even further segment them. And then you could use those answers to send out really direct mail. So a tangible example, Dennis actually did this at Auto Wash. He was originally, they're partners with the Broncos and the Rockies, and they'd send out these blasts. And you get a bunch of people who would opt out, right? Because they don't like the Broncos. They hate the Broncos. They don't want to see another thing about the Broncos. So now
They're Cowboys fans, obviously.
Like Chiefs fans, I think, but
the joke is no one really likes the Broncos right now. So, but so we have a survey tool. What's your favorite team? When they launch, what's your favorite local team? We're able to collect that information, and now when we send those messages, we send them to people who just love the Broncos, and get so much more engagement. So that's just like one little example. We have people who use the survey tool to get live feedback from their customers. We've had people to ask, do you like hamburgers or hot dogs for the car event that we're about to do? You could use it for all sorts of different things. And if you're really creative, you start building these rich profiles about your customers that you could then use to reconnect and build that conversation Dennis was talking about.
That's the other thing that, we're seeing this huge evolution, not just in the car wash industry, but that's what we'll talk about, is how to leverage data. So one, capturing the data, because you have to get this information from the customer in a way that they want to share it with you. And then where do you put the data, and how do you quantify it, and how do you use it to benefit you and the customer? And it sounds like that's a great example of just one way of reaching a customer in the language that they want, in the manner in which they want to engage, but also with the preferences that they have. So it shows that you have a you're tracking them, that you care about them, that you want to engage specifically with them to a tailored message. And that's really, really cool. Talk to me a little bit about what else you can do with this data that you're collecting and how you're pushing the envelope on benefiting both the car wash customer and then the owner for building that brand loyalty.
I think before Adam jumps into that question, I think one of the reasons we really liked working with Adam in the very beginning was because of the sanctity of the data. That was their focus, obviously coming from their background at EY and doing all the projects that they were doing, is having good data. So just having data, and if it's garbage, doesn't really help very much. And so knowing that we actually have the right answers and we are putting that message out to the right person was one of the big differences that we noticed when we started developing this program. That is the foundation of our platform, is how strong those data relational databases are.
It was one of the first conversations Dennis and I had when he was talking about his vision, and he kind of said this was born from frustration, and one of the frustrations was the lack of ability to pull good data out of these systems. So that was from the day one, having full transparency and access, and having a really nice design data model sitting behind the system was really one of the most important goals of AMP. So yeah, we're collecting so much information. We already kind of talked about some of the information about the customers that we know. We have operational data, where they're washing, how much they're washing, things like that. We have financial data, so we're able to see, how long has someone been a member. We know when people who are having trouble with credit cards versus not. Different levels of membership. We know timing, when someone gets a trial wash, how long does it take them to become a member? And then when they become a member, what's their lifetime value? How long are they a member? We have interactions within the app. So if someone clicks on a deal, we track impressions and clicks and redemptions. So you're able to see on the marketing side how successful that is. And it's really bringing all that data together and making it super accessible. So we have our own reports and dashboards that where we try to derive insights from that data. But we also pump our data. You could pull our data with APIs. We use this tool called Snowflake, which is an online data repository that lets customers take our data into their own data repository. But now for the sort of questions you could ask of this data, it's hard to answer that question because it's kind of unlimited. But certain things we do is, what promotion is most effective at driving lifetime value? Get the first month free, get the first month for $5, download the app, get a free car wash. We have all these different promotions we could run. How can we tell, so now we have the data to really draw that out and look at your cohorts of members based on these different promotions and really understand what's working, what's not, and make a tweak. And we're not waiting, we're not having to dump that data out and send it to someone else to analyze it. It's all coming in real time. And what's really exciting, I think, about our future roadmap is starting to bring in data scientists and machine learning algorithms to start, there's some obvious things that a human can spot, but are there certain correlations that humans can't easily derive that these algorithms could find? So for example, give me the list of people most likely to churn that are current members, and we could dump into that algorithm. How many times are they washing per month? What's their payment history and failure rate? And try to start finding, these groups of people that we could then market to and try to make sure, be more proactive rather than reactive.
There's a lot of rich things there that you just touched on and shared about. And exciting. I think it's really, again, it's really cool just watching the evolution of the car wash industry to find how we can use this information to reach, connect, and communicate with the car wash customer in a meaningful way that builds up brand loyalty. And one of the things that you mentioned kind of early in this part of the conversation is that opt-in messaging, or that opt-in communication with the customer. So this is a very transparent. It's not like you're spying on them. They are giving you this information because they find value in the relationship. And I love that part of it because it is a relationship that, that both of you are mutually bringing something to the table of value.
That's really important. And yeah, we definitely take a lot of inspiration from the food and beverage industry, looking at, how generous the Starbucks points system is. Really what that is they're wanting people to download the app. They're wanting to get information about those people. They're wanting to understand their buying patterns. There's great statistics out there that if you're have a user or a customer that has an app, they're going to spend 30% more with your brand than someone without an app. So yeah, it's pretty exciting, so you can be really generous, and you can do things like offer discounts and promotions in the app, but still kind of your net growth and your net profits are still going up, because now you have this huge audience that's a captive audience that likes your brand.
And it's not even just, it doesn't have to be just a monthly membership customer. This is your retail customers too. So I think that we've had a lot of focus on the memberships, and rightly so, but the retail customer is important too. And this gives a way to bridge that, to still engage with them, right? That you're still reaching them as well, if they have that, if they have the platform downloaded.
Yeah, totally. I think from an operator's perspective, you want to have all your customers' information, not just your members' customer information. And so being able to grab all those folks, and it's anywhere from half to 70% of your users are not members, which means they're using you maybe once a month or when it's convenient, or they're trying you for the first time. And there's not a really good way to capture those people if you don't capture them on that initial visit. That might be your only shot in an old model. But now with a model of like, everybody download the app, you have an opportunity to aim for memberships in this with loyalty. And by that, maybe not an explicit loyalty program, but an ability to go after and capture that person.
Come in every 6 weeks. Or whatever it is.
We can go in and say, hey, someone who tried us, they washed once, they haven't washed in 90 days, ping that person. And we have the ability to do that in the mobile app and grab that person and bring them back to our brand, because they're gonna watch somewhere. And it's probably, if they're not already locked in loyal, then it's convenience loyalty, which is where it's on the way to work or on the way home. But if you're able to push them and give them a nudge just a little bit, then when that does have that next weather event, that car wash they messaged me I should go there.
One really cool example of this, one of our customers just did last weekend, was they were launching a new location. So, app is really great. If you're launching new locations, you really quickly bring that location into your membership program. It's POS agnostic, but that activation event, there's like this, you're trying to grow membership as quickly as possible at that new location and get to that critical mass. So what we're able to do is, come in for a grand opening, get a free wash. But instead of just giving everyone a free wash and maybe taking on paper, I don't know how, without an app, how you would collect information about that customers. It's, well, you have to download the app and then you get your free wash. So we're able to capture hundreds and hundreds of people the first day that a car wash launches, that we know live in that area, are interested in that car wash, and really quickly reach that critical mass of memberships at each location. That's really cool to see.
And this is so important for a lot of car washes that, that we interact with and have relationships with, that are growing, and maybe they're growing through acquisitions and they have multiple POSs across different regions, or maybe even in the same town, that finding that bridge to, not have to rip everything out and start all over with the hard equipment at those sites that are, extremely expensive and cost prohibitive and time prohibitive, that this helps them speed that process along and work with what's there in still an advantageous way, that it's not even that they're losing anything out on this. This is still helpful.
Being agnostic of the POS and being flexible, because even today, if tying into the different POS providers, whether it's Sunny's, DRB, or ICS, or whomever, there's new technologies always coming out, and there could be a different POS tomorrow, and being able to tie in with that as well, just being dynamic and flexible, it allows the operator to not have to worry about the sunk cost of like, oh man, I got to rip out that POS.
Like that pain point of we hear that a lot from customers or potential customers looking for an app, is it's really hard to run a big promotion that talks about membership across all your locations and things like that, when there's certain locations where, oh yeah, well that location, we haven't migrated them yet to our point of sale, so that's not covered. And to be able to almost immediately bring a new location up and get them on the membership and get existing memberships going to that location. It's pretty exciting.
Absolutely. with what you guys are doing, advancement wise on the AMP technology, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you do have new features that you've developed, that you've created, how do your existing customers, do they have access to that when they come out? Do they have to add that on later, or what does that look like for your customers as far as the new things that you're working on?
Yeah, I think this is one of the most exciting things about how we architected this solution. It's cloud-based. It's called multi-tenant, which means everybody is always on the latest and greatest version. We do something called feature flagging. So we do releases about once a month we're iteratively adding new features to the app. We have release notes that go out, so people could see all the new features, how they work, the new new settings, things like that. And then once they get launched, you'll get a notification that the features are now ready, and with instructions of how to turn them on in the portal. So it's really easy for people to take advantage of the latest and greatest. And that allows us, that feature flagging really allows us to march quickly and keep on adding great new features without interrupting current customers, but still letting them opt in to all the great things that we're building.
Great for your customer loyalty for AMP, because they're getting all these cool things. So I think that that's such a neat thing, because it really does, it becomes frustrating when you hear that your neighbor has such a better Spectrum deal or whatever it is, because there's some promotion that came out right then. So just feeling like you have access to all of the new cool stuff that you guys are developing for, down the road and on an ongoing basis. I think that's so cool, and how neat to grow with your car wash partners and offer them new solutions that maybe they haven't thought of.
One of the challenges is being able to do that intelligently and not mess the app up or mess the platform up. I think that's like the hardest thing to do, and make sure we have a good architecture on the back end of it, so that when we do add all these different configurations, that one doesn't take down another, and so that they all work in concert and can create a really cool user experience.
What does it look like as far as the future of what you guys see for AMP, from starting as this car wash mobile app, and then where is it going kind of in the long run? I mean, I know you don't have a crystal ball and have it all laid out, because you're constantly developing and tweaking and things like that. But what do you see for it, just kind of in a general sense, moving forward in the evolution?
I do think it is interesting. We started really focused on the app. And that was our key thing. Get a mobile app for your car wash. You could even see in the tagline behind me, we were called AMP, the car wash app. And as we've evolved, we've realized it's so much more than just an app. So you have your customer service reps and giving them the tools they need when customers call in. It's the data analytics that your business and operation folks need to make better decisions. The marketing piece has turned into a huge part of this, and making that so much more sophisticated. We have multi years of ideas of how to continue to iterate and make this thing stronger and stronger. And I think our big goal is, any interaction that a car wash has with a customer prior to their them entering the tunnel and them getting the actual wash. We think there's so much room for improvement. And as the things are more interconnected, and the text message that you send out is aware of the mobile app, and the kiosk also is aware that this person's a membership, and loyalty points and all this stuff you could do as you have all, kind of all these different separate communications with the customers, kind of all unified in one central platform. That just unlocks so much capability of what you're able to offer, what value you're able to offer, and how you're able to build that loyalty.
Totally. That's again, like we had talked about, that convenience loyalty to that brand loyalty, that there's so many sticky points with the interaction and the relationship building and the investment in getting to know your customer, that especially beyond the walls of the of the car wash, that there's a relationship there that's deeper. And I think that's really exciting. And I think you guys are doing some really cool things with that. And it's fun to watch. And I'm excited to, share in this journey to, keep offering real solutions to car wash owners that are addressing these pain points, that are helping grow memberships and loyal customers that are retail customers or whatever it is. But capturing and using this data in a meaningful way to grow your bottom line is, I think, what all car wash owners want. That they want to have more loyal customers that's growing their business, but also that there's a continued path forward to keep growing.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is, as the industry becomes a little bit more mature, is the commoditization of the car wash, and how are you going to differentiate? It's now becomes about operational efficiency, and it means that you need to have a lower churn rate than your competitor, and you need to make sure that you're doing things for additional capture and growth of your MRR, and or your retail customer, or what we call like the pay per wash customer, and what are you doing to grab those folks? Because you have to get to a point where you can grab all of it. If you're not doing the most efficient things, then you're probably going to get beat long-term competition wise.
Right. And that's just kind of it's good business practice anyways, but the nature of where we are right now with, it's more expensive to do everything, and money costs more. So protecting those customers and strengthening that brand loyalty makes so much sense, and also streamlining the rest of your operations. So working in tandem with multiple facets of your business to really optimize the experience for the user, optimize the operational strategy and execution on the car wash side of it as well, and that those all work, hand in hand.
I think my marketing professor back in college used to hammer on us about how expensive it was to grab a customer and how valuable it was to retain that customer. And I think that's where the the platform is really kind of honed in on, is like we've kind of touched on it a couple of times already, is grabbing that non-member and keeping that person engaged, because if they're eventually, hopefully, they become a future member. And so I guess we probably should classify them as maybe future members and existing members.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that. The car wash industry historically has been very volume based, and you talk about how many cars you wash per hour, and while all of those things still matter, it's really shifted to how many members you have, and how much are you growing that membership base. And again, we're still talking about the retail customers too, but that's the important part of it, is that ongoing, because it's the relationship and the ongoing future business that they'll have as well. Well, thank you guys for sharing about AMP, and just talking about this really cool evolution again of what started as a car wash mobile app 2 years ago at the Southwest show, which was coming up. This show will actually release while we are at the 2023 Southwest Car Wash Association convention in Fort Worth. And it's been such a cool journey to watch you guys. And again, just remembering being one of the people that was pulled in to hey, hear about our new car wash app. But from the minute that I met both you guys and Bobby with Retention Express, you are just doing something so cool for the industry. And I really love watching how the industry is growing and evolving, and there's new things coming in and new ways of looking at things that are taking hold. And I think that you guys are doing an awesome job. Not that you need my 2 cents, but I really do. And I've had so much fun getting to know you guys and your team. And I'm excited to, like I said, keep seeing where everything's going.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. Feeling is mutual. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. And as someone newer to the car wash industry, I speak to so many people who are just fall in love with this space, and just so amazing how collaborative people are, and kind of hungry for new ideas, and open to and how quick they're able to move and make decisions and things like that. So it's just been so much fun to be a part of this, and we're very excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, and especially with your pre-car wash background, I think that you probably, maybe first is you're a car wash and you're kind of what does that look like? Or you may be excited about it or maybe not. But then once you get into it, it sounds like my experience as well, that it just really sticks with you. And there's something so cool about it, that the relationships and the people and the collaboration and the desire to perform better always. There is always room to keep getting better and growing and evolving. And I think that drives all of us. So it's really cool. Okay, guys. Well, thanks again for being my guest today. And we will see you at the show. Well, as this airs, we'll be there. Cool. Thanks,
Right on.
guys. Bye.
Thanks, Lenise.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Car Wash M&A, the podcast, with your host, Lenise Barnett. Like what you hear? Subscribe to our podcast feed and leave us a review, or follow us on social media at Amplify Car Wash Advisors. Want more M&A information? Visit our website at amplifywash.com and listen for new episodes on the last Thursday of each month.